Most of us look at our stars in the newspapers. Not many of us take them all that seriously. We look at them very much with a pinch of salt, because after all, how can 1/12 of the world's population have the same prediction? And that's true, but it's wrong to dismiss the idea of sun signs completely, because after all, the sun, which is shown so prominently in the head of this book, is the most important life-giving force on the planet. And it affects us as individuals too. But of course, to have an understanding of our separate individuality, we have to consider how the Earth is spinning on its axis, and also the other planets as well as the Moon, maybe Venus and Mercury and Mars and Jupiter and so on. We have to consider all of those and put them in together as in a chart. Now, this can seem a bit complicated to people who just look at sun signs. So what we've done with the secret language of astrology, and it's explained in this circle at the bottom, is tell you about a website, to create a website that will calculate all this for you and put it very conveniently onto several sheets of paper. The first sheet of paper has a copy of the chart, which shows the planetary positions in their signs, and then the other two pieces give an interpretation of those planets in signs. Now, the first one, the sun sign, is all you get in a newspaper, but with this you get the Moon and Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn and so on. You get a much more complete idea of yourself, but that's only a beginning. To really understand your astrology and how astrology works, you have to use a book like The Secret Language of Astrology, which is designed to be just as easily accessible as the website is. So let's have a look at the book then. It includes, first of all, a short history of the way that astrology has been used by people for thousands of years. I mean, prehistoric times, Babylonian times, Greco-Roman, right the way through up to the modern day. But very succinctly, just a couple of pages for each period, and then we look at the deeper meaning of the sun, what it says about our lives, and then all the other planets as well, the Mercury, the Moon, Venus, Jupiter and so on. And then we look in some depth at the signs of the zodiac, which the planets are in. There's Taurus, but there are special plates done for each of the signs, and you look deeper and deeper into the connections, the planets in the signs, how we can draw aspects together, and finally we come to the section of the book that draws all these pieces together. The birth chart is what combines all these elements into one place. Now, to understand what a chart is, we have to start by looking up at the heavens. And this particular part of the sky that we're reproducing here has just got Jupiter and Uranus in it. And if we were to relate that to an actual astrology chart, you can see here as the Uranus and Jupiter are in the circle. And the whole of the sky above the horizon is represented here. And also, we can represent the heavens beneath the horizon as well. So imagine you are right in the centre of all these circles, and the whole of the heavens position is represented around you by this diagram. And then we have the planets in particular signs, and we can actually give a meaning to the planets in those signs, which describes your nature. Because proper astrology takes account of so many details, it seems at first that this is a bit too complicated, but it isn't if you take it step by step. And to just show you how rewarding it can be, let's just do it not so much by words but by pictures. And to do that, I'm going to concentrate on a famous artist, Vincent van Gogh. Now here in the book is a picture of his self-portrait, a very famous self-portrait he made of himself. And the amazing thing is, if you look at his face and the shape of his face, then look at the symbol for Aries. Now, we didn't make the symbol for Aries because Van Gogh looks like that. This was made generally, it's a generally accepted symbol that's been around for thousands of years. But you can see how just the very look of the man is so similar to Aries. And he's very fiery and active and impulsive. And that is the whole idea of the sign. But Van Gogh isn't just an Aries. He has the moon in Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius is another fire sign. It's very active and dramatic and aspiring and expansive. And obviously you can see this in the vibrancy of his paintings and the vast vistas and the vibrating vistas. But there's a bit more to it than that, because he has Venus and Mars, the feminine and masculine planet, in Pisces. And this is where you get the sensitivity, the feeling, the tactile emotions, and also his tendency to be a victim in life and to be used by his brother and sort of feel this frustration in his love life and so on, comes from this kind of rather sad, suffering energy that also expresses itself in painting. But it is disciplined by the fact that he has Saturn in Taurus, which is an earth sign, practical, beautiful, Venetian, creative. This is the system he had to devote all that emotion, all that action, all that energy, all that vibrance into. And you begin to see, I think, just by looking at the pictures, without worrying about the words that interpret the pictures, you can see how this impulsive, fiery, determined man could express all his emotional sensitivity and vulnerability with a kind of aspiring, kind of beautiful, practical creativity. As you start putting these pieces of astrological concepts together, you begin to experience what it's like to understand astrology on an individual rather than a general basis. You start becoming your own astrologer. And as you use the secret language of astrology more and more, you will start to see how astrology can really work for you in your life and in the lives of the people you know.
It's time to bring the stars back to life, back to our lives. Visit the Secret Language of Astrology website. Follow the Secret Language of Astrology on Facebook.